We define respiratory depression as a conscious person whose chief complaint is difficulty breathing. The two most common respiratory problems seen in dentistry are hyperventilation and bronchospasm, the acute asthmatic episode. Hyperventilation occurs when a very apprehensive person loses control over their breathing. Some persons faint when they're scared, while others hyperventilate. Consequently, this most often occurs in the same age group as does fainting, from teenagers to adults in their 30s. In hyperventilation, breathing is deep and quite rapid, and is almost always a clinical manifestation of the patient's underlying dental fears. Because they are blowing out too much carbon dioxide and artificially lowering their CO2 level, the victim will notice that their fingertips are getting cold, followed by a feeling of numbness in the fingertips and toes. If the CO2 level continues to decrease, carpopedal tetany occurs, causing their fingers and toes to go into spasm and become rigid. By now, the victim is even more frightened, and if hyperventilation is allowed to continue, seizures might develop.
Hi, Sarah. Haven't seen you in a while. So today you're in for a root canal. I understand you have an infection in one of the teeth in your lower part of your mouth. I don't think I've really explained about a root canal, but let me just tell you that it's got all the living parts of the tooth, but we keep the tooth in the mouth, and that way we'll get rid of the infection and you'll still save your tooth. And you'll feel a lot better. So we're gonna get started, okay, sweetie? All right, Millie, can you help me put the chair back, please? What's wrong? What's wrong? Sarah started to exhibit very rapid, deep breathing. I also noticed that her fingers were, she started being very fidgety with her fingers, and I touched them and they were cold. All right, listen, can you put the chair up? She's hyperventilating. Knowing that she was hyperventilating, I knew that she was blowing off more CO2 than she should have, so I knew we had to try to restore that. The best way to restore that is to cup your hands over your mouth and your nose and have her rebreathe her exhaled carbon dioxide. Slower, you're breathing off too much carbon dioxide, that's not good. So try and breathe slower. Slow down, you're gonna be fine. Also, that will have some kind of subjective kind of way of helping her, because she'd be warming up her hands in that way, and automatically she'll be feeling better. And in the meantime, we're building up her CO2 levels. Okay. A little slower.
Because exhaled air is warm and their hands are cold, the patient will subjectively begin to feel better almost immediately. Since exhaled air contains considerably more carbon dioxide than inhaled air, this will gradually raise the CO2 level and relieve the signs and symptoms that occur with hyperventilation.
All right, you can take your hands away. So how do you feel? Feel better? I think we're going to reappoint you, but next time before your visit, I'm going to give you something to allay some of the stress, because I think that's what brought it on. What do you think? Yeah. Get a little nervous when I told you about root canal. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Glad you're doing better.
With the combination of reassurance by the doctor and rebreathing of carbon dioxide, hyperventilation will resolve within 5 to 15 minutes.